Sebo X1 automatic that we looked at a little while ago. It needs a few hidden parts to make it a nice Sebo once more. Well, today we are going to try and harvest said parts from this motorless, pretty beaten up and smashed up Sebo X7 shell. Yes, we're going to play what fits where. I know the parts that we need. We have some parts that I want to see what the difference is. And in theory we can, at the end of this video, have this Sebo X1 automatic completely refurbished and ready for sale or a new home. Let's have a look. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner and Sebo chums. How are you today? Yes, we pick up where we left off. This machine works fine. It turns on, through the climate, it's new. Through the carpet. Down it goes. I mean, to all intents and purposes, it's pretty good as it is. Let's let it rise up. And there we go. It's still making a rumbly noise, and we did oil that inner brush roll bearing in the last video, didn't we? I don't know. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to stamp on its head, and then push the magic button and release the top from the bottom, because for all of the things that we need to do, we don't need to do anything up there. We're going to do the same to this as well, although this should be a bit easier because it's already half apart. There we go. We don't need really that either. I wonder if that fits onto here. That fits rather well, actually. I think that's clipped together. Oh my goodness, we're going to have to go the whole way now, aren't we? Has anybody ever tried this? Does an X7 body fit an X1? I mean, the handles will fit. Let's just plug this back in. It works. I don't think. Oh yeah, in there's a bit, but that's not fine. So like that. That's quite interesting, isn't it? But no, that's not what. Oh no, I've got to take this off again. No, that's not where we want to be. We want to be down here. Underneath these machines, we find the brush rolls. Oh, pull the one from the X7 out. Yeah, this is why I'm not going to bother to really clean up this X7. It is very, very well used, but oh my goodness, why won't you come out? I want to pull the, there we go. I want to pull the brush roll out because I want to see if it's any better than our brush roll in here. I think it is, you know, I mean, it's no spring chicken either, but it's a lot stiffer. It's a lot longer, and I think it's a bit more genuine. So, hey, we shall immediately have that, although that's not really mostly what I want. We shall see if it cures that brush roll rattle. What we want is back here. What we want to do is to undo these 3 clips that hold on the rear wheel axle. And then we've got to pull. We've also got to pull and pop that spring up out of the plastic. There we go. When our back axle can come out, and this is the first thing that I want to change. These wheels are just worn completely out. The rubber is very much not in its first flush of use. And problem is the axle changed completely. So we're going to have to take the wheel off of the axle, sadly. But the wheel itself hasn't changed. So on our X7 donor, we can, oh, be careful to not stab myself. We need to pop this centre cap out. It's very, very in there. Get this out. I was doing that last piece wrong. Undo these two back screws here. Then you can withdraw these little axles, and then behind these little axles we can see these big plastic clips, which I've now got to try and release without stabbing myself with the screwdriver, and that's then what will pop these inner caps off. I'm just popping all the wheels off, getting ready for us to fly through the next bit, and look at these lovely, perfectly round balls of dirt that were inside of the wheel of the X1. That's fantastic. What I'm doing here is just manoeuvring up this washer, because you'll need this to put the wheels back on again. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Then we can take these off. So these are the old wheel, and then you can see the new wheel has a lot more height to it. The wheel itself is the same size, it's a little bit smaller, but it's the tyre that makes it bigger. And that's this thing's main problem, where it's dropped down, because the wheels aren't high enough, the whole thing is not doing very well. So all we simply need to do now is to pop the new wheels onto here, pushing down on the little spring washer until it goes on. And then we can fit this back onto the machine and move on to the centre wheel. With our rear wheels in place as much as they need to be, we may as well stay underneath here and undo these very tight and very rounded hood screws. Wow! Next we need to look at the centre wheel, and I thought I'd start with inside of the machine. I put all of the bits of everything all over the place here. Yeah, this is how bad it blew its old motor. It just burnt a big hole in the filter. We don't want any of that. This machine isn't worth fixing. It's not worth caring about. I did want to see if that was the same. I don't know, actually. I think this bit, the bearing might be. I don't know. We'll see how it feels with the new brush roll in it first. But what we need is the centre wheel. And to start with the centre wheel, we need to unplug it. So, isn't this interesting? It's the same connector. I am mostly thinking that we're just going to swap the entire assembly over between the two. And with that plug unplugged, this is just the wrong size screwdriver bit. With that plug unplugged, we can undo these screws. I think this, will just pop out by manoeuvring everything out. I'll rip the flipping cables off of the motor as well. That's a bit annoying. I could probably fix that. Let's do the same, but a heck of a lot more gently with this Sebo. Oh, darn it. There we go, that's much more carefully, and I can work out, I probably soldered that back together. But yeah, we have an X7 motor housing and an X1, 1997 and 2019. I don't really know which one's going to be better than the other, to be completely honest with you. I think possibly the X7 one. So let me go and solder these two connectors back together that I stupidly tore off, and then put this wheel and this machine, I think, into an X1. Let's just check that it's going to fit. Yeah, it's going to fit fine. Well, we may as well do that for a laugh. Otherwise, I can just put this unit in, because this unit does work. Again, it's where the wheel's so worn down. This doesn't have the height that it needs to not freak out that it's at the wrong level. And that's pretty much what was making this machine unbearable. Then with my little issue fixed, we can feed this all back in. I don't see why it's not going to work, folks. I mean, I don't think it's going to be any different because it's the PCB that controls everything, if that makes sense. But it might be different. So I'm going to get this back to the stage with the X7 brush roll in it, where we can do some vacuuming and we'll see if it's any better. Right, this should be usable if it was plugged in with some power applied. Instantly that's a lot nicer to use. It's not scraping everywhere. Let's take the height change. Yes, that works. But there's still that noise in the bearing. Yeah, that's one step up, one step down, I guess. I don't even know what it could be in terms of, I've got two better belts here. We could swap the belts. I don't know if it's... Oh no, it's definitely coming from the brush roll housing. I think I might go to all the effort of taking this bearing out of this housing, because it's a different housing, seeing if it will fit in there. Okay, didn't swap the bearing around because I couldn't get the X7 one apart, so I've just tweaked up the one that's in it, put the hood back on so we can check what the light is. Oh, I think... Sounds fine when it's running. It's probably going to be okay. Oh, excellent. That might be it. The actual bearing itself is a little bit loose in the carrier, so maybe we didn't do it well in video one. Fantastic. So I'm going to call that good. What else do we want to rob from this X7? Well, we can have ourselves a lovely crevice tool if we need one of those. Oh, and a nice upholstery brush. We need one of those. What I think I also want to take is perhaps not the wand itself, because that wand looks absolutely cool. This wand is a lot better. But I wonder if the hose might look nice. I don't know really. This is its original hose, but it's a bit faded, it's a bit yucky, and I think having a nice silver one, especially once I wash it all up, I don't know really, what do you think? Do you think that looks better with a silver hose or this white creamy hose? I think I'm going to keep the silver hose on it. And all of a sudden, we have what I think is a much better working machine. Yeah. That's a decent 60. Fantastic. So, all bar one thing that's left, I think we have a decent project machine. Problem is, it's quite filthy. So I'm going to go away now and strip this all apart, give it a good old wash, a good old scrub, you know, get rid of all of the grime and the yuck, and well, we'll come back when we're ready to finish it off. I think this bag should be okay. A couple of days later, we find ourselves, well, getting there, really. Oh, we have the pile of Sebo X1 parts to put together, and this did all wash up very, very nicely indeed. Underneath this ruined looking Sebo should be quite a nice machine. We also have some fair amount of bits from the lovely Manchester backs, the new seal that came. There's stuff in here as well. Oh, more things to make our Sebo work really, really well. I have rip apart this tank and pull it out. We have such things as a nice, decent base plate, a new rubber strip for our base plate, a very important new foam gasket that sits at the top of the hose on there, and a new post motor filter. Fantastic. I can get all of those bits put on as I do this stuff, and we should end up with a nice, decent Sebo. And then all of this stuff, you know, the cogs and the body of this Sebo, including the nicely probably working PCB, is all going to go back to Manchester Vacs or the SeboShop.co.uk, where they can use these parts to fix up some other poor, horrible, down on its luck Sebo. Because yeah, the body parts are still very good indeed. All the spares are worth a shout. There's no point sticking all this in the recycling. I can post it off to them. They gave me a nice happy price on all of these spares. And in the next scene, we should be looking at the after video part of a lovely Sebo. Hope this next bit goes well. Before long, we end up with this very smart looking, spotlessly clean Sebo X1 from the late 1990s. And yeah, if you're going to collect these, you want to get it back to this standard in order to really appreciate it. I'm quite excited as to how much better this may run. So we shall pop the cable down. I have our handle fitted, nothing really that special about that. We have our silver hose, which I think looks a lot nicer than the grey hose. Then what I actually need to do is to take off the top from the bottom, because we need to start fitting some parts. These parts, yeah, are in here. So we will, where should we start? Let's start under here, because I have it in my hand. This, ow. Ooh, this is the original seal that goes underneath, and as you can see, it is plastic. This is what seals the air that comes between here and there. So if you push and pull the machine and it sounds awful, that is why. What we have, where are we? Here, from the lovely Manchester Vacs, is a brand new rubber gasket for, oh no, sorry, lightly used, but rubber. You know, it's lightly used, but it's rubbery. That is all that we want. We can fit this to our machine. It then just pushes into this little groove here, which I shall show you once I've pushed it all the way in there, like that. So that is job number one. Job number two is, oh no, my own doing, and I've actually just realised I've lost the little spring entirely. I had unclipped the little spring that sits there, but now that I've done that, it has fallen off. We've only had it here. Let me find our spring. There we go, one spring found and in place. We won't be able to stuff the back door on with no filter fitted now. Next thing we're going to do is dismantle it a bit more. We need to take off that trim part. And actually, I am going to have to take off this entire clip as well from here, because this bit needs to come out when we fitted so I didn't lose it all. And that is for spare part number 2, the second Achilles heel of the Sebo X series. I mean, I pulled these out completely flat like paper before. These sit here, and again, help when you're pushing and pulling the machine to seal up and stop a very annoying air leak that I have experienced before. And there we go. That just goes in there like that. This part pushes down and the screw can be done up. And with this screw done up, I think we're pretty much done with the top end of the machine. We can take our door with the bag that we fitted to the machine. But no, wait, we can't take that at all. We have to take this pre-motor filter, which I've had kicking around for years. So it's nice to be able to finally get rid of it. There we go. Now we can fit the bag door with our very lightly used bag. Still perfectly fine. And I think our machine is now ready for the final little bits. Underneath of our Sebo X1 is immaculate, as you can see. What it needs is a nice non-broken base plate to finish it off. If you remember, the old base plate is here, look. All of that bit was just completely broken off and going to cause all sorts of issues. And yeah, this is a nice used base plate. What I need to do now, however, is push out this little bit of broken plastic and fit, again for Manchester Vacs, thank you for sending all these parts over, a brand new strip. Oh yes, oh hang on, before we start a brand new strip, look, we're going to get rid of all of that fluff from underneath the old one. There we go. And then we can fit the new strip, hopefully just by sliding it into place. Just like a DC24 one. Oh, it's going a bit fiddly, but yeah. This will slide down into the grooves. Then we can call ourselves a nice new clip. Yeah, look, it's still trying to push through all of the crap and the gunk. No, it's not. It's really simple. You just go to the other end, which doesn't have that bit of plastic. Look, and you just slide it all the way. Oh my gosh, look all the dust that it's finding. You slide it all the way through, and that is how you fit the back strip. And as simple as that little back strip may seem, it's actually critically important on X series because they're not great on hard floor. And the reason that they get away with being not great on hard floor is that strip stops all the stuff from being flicked backwards by the otherwise spinning brush roller. It doesn't care if it's a carpet or a hard floor or your face, it will just keep on spinning. So that is going to finish this off an absolute treat, along with our Sebo X7 brush roll and X7 height control and X7 wheels. Very nice indeed. The final thing to do is to prise open our filter, which cleaned up a tree. That was black. You can sort of still see little bits of carbon dust, but she's certainly scrubbed out well. Our nice post motor filter pad, which I don't think this machine has ever had one of. Judging from the state of it before. Didn't put the little spring back on because it was broken, and quite frankly they're flipping pointless, especially when most people will never take the machine apart again. I can't imagine this machine's ever going to be split up. Unless, of course, we go to plug it in and it doesn't turn on. That would be annoying. Let's check that now. Let's check that this runs and goes through the motions fine. That runs very good. Right, does the height control do anything? Yep, they're going down. Oh, very pleasant. It's not too skinny either. Back up. Yeah. Have a lot more now. Well, we're still putting a solid 50 on our meter. But the best thing is that the machine doesn't leak air when you push it backwards or forwards. That's where you get learning. This machine now has no one. I'm sure that made its little rattle. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to do the job all right. I might just use it upstairs, you know, for 10-15 minutes and check it's okay. But I think it'll be good. If not, we'll have to repair it again. But Sebo X1s aren't really that valuable. We're not going to be able to ask too much money for this, even though it is probably above a lot, bar the ones that come from the lovely Sebo shop, of course. And it now has its gaskets. It has a very good brush roll. It has slightly modified parts. It is very good indeed. So, are you a Sebo fan? And if so, do you still like the automatic X1, or are you like me and the X7 does blow this out of the water? You should probably get an X7 if you have nothing and fancy a Sebo outright. But you can't pick up X7s that often for free, whereas you can a Sebo X1. So I guess it's horses for courses. Let me know which you go for down below. But until the next Sebo refurbishment, I thank Sebo shop for their lovely parts. And I, and some other Sebo in need of some love, will see you soon. Bye bye.